Alright everybody, welcome back to the moth-hawk project, and today we're gonna be working on this part, and then we're gonna try to design the leaves. So once the leaves are done, then once I clean up this part, then we're gonna be drawing the leaves on top of it, and I hope that is gonna be looking lovely. So first things first, let's get this stamp out of the way because I just used it on different thing. We don't need stamp where this is going. Yep. And a full screen. Alright. We're good to go. And let's get started, shall we? So the main idea here is that we're gonna be working on the trees, and then once the trees are once the tree bark is done, we can then draw the leaves above it. That's the main idea. Creating this kind of effect that actually works well. So first things first, we need to slow this down to 3.6 because we don't want to have the 5 point, we don't want to have 10 point because 10 point is actually horrible. It's way too thick. We don't like that. Well, I don't like it. A lot of people might like it, but I don't like it. Not for this tree, at least. So yeah, a little bit of an update. I had to see if I could draw. I had to see if one of the designs of one of my drawings, I put it onto a hot teacup. No, not teacup. Coffee cup. Yeah, a hot coffee cup. So I put a design on a coffee cup, and then when it's hot, then the picture is shown. So what I did actually was to see if the how it's looking and how does it look when you look at it, and that works pretty well. I'm very happy upon the result of how it turned out to be, and tomorrow I will be delivering that to a friend of mine because I promised to see if it works. And I want to show. So showing is always good. So yeah, how does the moth-hawk work? Well, it's always the same thing as always, I guess. And today it's gonna be the same thing as always as well. Well, with a little bit of spin, of course. Figuring out like how do we draw leaves and how are we gonna represent those leaves on the tree, because that's a very difficult thing. It's much different than what we are now doing, because now we're drawing the bark, and once we are going towards drawing the tree leaves, that it can sometimes be a little bit more complicated. Of course, to make sure that I'm doing it the right way, so to make sure that I'm not going to be leaving anything behind, that make sure that I don't screw it up, I need to figure out like, well, if we have the tree, how are we gonna form the leaves around it? We can make a big giant blob. I think that's the worst case scenario, because we do need to have a representation of the leaves inside of the tree, because well, it's a big tree and we drew already the roots of it, well, the bark of it. So if we then leave just, if we then just draw this, this, and then that is the leaf, yeah, that won't work. That won't work, just putting empty leaves in there. So we need to find a way like, how do we texturize the leaves and then go from there. But first things first is that we need to figure out how to do this part of the thing, which is one of the most easiest parts actually. Well, not one of the easiest parts, more like one of the most easiest parts when it comes to drawing the bits. Because as you already know, the amount of stuff that is going to be happening soon, so the amount of things that are going to be coming soon to bite me in the butt, that is going to be the leaves, of course. The main issue is that the tree ja, mam. Mijn afval? Oh, die ligt hier. Ik kom het zo brengen. So yeah. Mom just asked if I had any garbage left behind in my room, and I said, yes, I do. I will bring it shortly. Well, not now, of course, but shortly I will. So, yeah. How do we get the tree leaves going? That's the main question now. Of course, we're still thinking about how to get the tree leaves done, even though we're not even doing the tree leaves right now. But it's good and healthy to think about it right now because, well, we're almost there anyway. So if we have the tree leaves, we can go for two ways of doing things. So the way A is just draw leaf by leaf. I think that is one of the most horrendous, most difficult thing I ever did. If I do such a thing, because it's a thing that is not very smart to do because, well, you have already a lot of leaves and it's gonna get very messy, and I don't want to have too much attention put onto the leaves. I want the leaves to be representing, yes, but I don't want them to be outstanding. Because, the moth-hawk needs to be outstanding, not the trees, not the leaves. It just needs to be in the background. It needs to be background noise that looks nice and looks pretty and acts like, a charm. We don't want anything else. Because if we do find ourselves in that scenario that, well, the trees are going to be more outstanding than the moth-hawk, then, well, we're going to have a problem with the moth-hawk because therefore the moth-hawk won't stand out too much, and then you don't have anything. Because then you have a painting that just gets merged into too much detail on too much things, and everybody's going to get blown in their faces. So we don't want to have the brain to have a major overload of emotions. So yeah, that's a thing that we need to prevent. Normally this is a good thing, having a good amount of emotions coming into one way or another. But when it comes to these drawings, no. If you have too much noise being represented, so too much noise being represented, the painting will look dull. But if you have too much standing out, then, well, your painting looks also dull because nobody can find what the hell you're looking at, or cannot define what the hell you're looking at. More better word. So to prevent that from happening, we need to do the other way around. So we need to figure out, like, how do we create a texture that works for the tree, that works for the leaves, that works for the moth-hawk itself, so that everything will not stand out too much, but it does give the feeling of, leaves. So it needs to be not standing out, it needs to be in the background, it's supposed to be not a noise, it needs to be a kind of noise, but not fully. So people can look at the leaves and then realize, like, oh, well, that's nicely done. That kind of effect. But they don't have to look at the leaves. It doesn't need to be shoved in their face. It needs to be shoved in their face sometimes, but not there. It's supposed to be shoved in their face, like, around this line right here. So from here till there needs to be shoved in. So this is the part where we need to be shoving them with the leaves. So it needs to be standing out a bit, but not too much. It needs to give the representation of a shield. Or, well, a family shield. And why does it need to have that feeling? Because, well, that's how the composition works. The composition was designed in such a way that it represented a family shield. So the moth-hawk is in the middle of a family shield. Of course, it's not in a family shield, but it represents one. So it's like a little afterthought. So now we're looking at this, and I'm thinking already ahead. Great. But one more thing, though. I have also been working on the drawing for the sweater, and I must say, it's already coming all together. The main problem I face with this drawing is that, well, the amount of detail that came into that project already. Whoa, it's decent. I'm just now working on the background a little bit, so I'm working on the second important part of the drawing there. Yeah, probably. Because what I'm now doing is actually drawing a stone calendar and paint and coloring it. Of course, you know, coloring is one of those things that is very difficult because, well, coloring is a thing that, like what we're now doing, coloring is a thing that needs to be on the feeling, on the iffiness. But the main problem was that I wanted to have it represent stone calendar, right? I wanted to have it represent a stone calendar, but it needs to be also cartoony. So I needed to find a way to represent a stone in such a way that does not break the immersion of, you know, it's still the same art style, but it needs to have the detail of that it is made out of stone. The first impression it had was made out of clay. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to have it to feel like stone. So that's why you saw me earlier with the stamp selected, because, well, you know, I used the stamp to get the stone feeling, the cracked stone feeling. So like cracked stone, sandstone that is there and there. And it looks good, looks decent, and I'm very happy upon how it now looks. I'm very fond of it. And once the whole calendar is drawn, I can then continue with the second part of the calendar, which is the face that comes out of where the roller coaster comes out of. And that's quite funny, because, you know, then you have the full connection of it, and that's great. Alright, now as you can see, the whole drawing here is drawn by hand. All these lines are drawn by hand, yes. Now we are done with this part right here. We are quite getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but we can now see that we have another layer, right? We have the color that we still need, and that is right about here, I believe. Yes, right about here somewhere. Yeah. So now we need to draw some detail into this mess. Well, it's not a mess, it's just, you know, a drawing, but I like to say it like that. It sounds more drastic. And we are gonna do it with the paint, I believe. With the paint job, could that be done? Like so. Can I draw a little bit more lines? Yes, I can. Awesome. So what the idea here is that we're gonna be drawing some lines up, which to create the feeling of a tree. It doesn't have to be representing too much. It doesn't have to be representing everywhere, as you can see, but it needs to be representing a bit so that we can get the effect that we want. Because now it gives already the feeling of roundiness and bark looking like skin that crawls around on the tree. And with the barky skin around it, it creates the feeling of that, well, you know, this is a tree. It's a rusty old, big old tree that stands there for ages to come. And to make sure that that works, you know, you need to add some more flexible colors to it. That's it. Of course, not every color is good for it. Not every color is great for it. No, that's horrible sometimes. But we're gonna do this on the same layer because, well, you know, it saves a lot of space. And as you can see, we already did a lot there. Alright, now that we are done here, we can now remove a lot of it. What am I removing? Well, I'm removing all these lines that we don't need anymore. Because now we need to do the cleanup. Oh boy, a cleanup, yes. We need to do a little bit of a cleanup, and then once we're done with the cleanup, we can... I need to select this color because this color is not select. This color needs to be down as well because we're going to be still drawing the roots soon. Since we're going to be drawing the roots, I'm going to be putting it right there where everybody can see it. Bloop. Come on. Bloop. There you go. And this color right here we need. Bloop. So these two colors are now representing in the background, and it's a color that we need later on. But now we can casually remove the rest of it because we don't need it anymore here. So yeah, I have been doing a lot of things. I have been doing a lot of things lately, as I said before, and I'm very happy. I'm very fond of doing those things anyway. But sometimes they go in the way of doing the drawings. So Friday I will be going away on a dinner. So I'm gonna be eating dinner with friends in a restaurant, and then Saturday, I will be going to a lovely place somewhere in the north of my country. Because holy hell, that's gonna be an adventure indeed. Because somehow I need to figure out how to work with trains. I need to do a lot of visiting train, stepping on the next station. So it's gonna be around 3-hour travel, I believe. Well, 3-hour travel. Is that worth it? Yes, it's worth it. It is gonna be worth it. Why am I doing it? Well, because I like to do a 3-hour travel. It's decent. It's doable. I'm gonna be doing it anyway. And I got some good news and there. So I have some good news to tell anyway to those folks that I'm gonna visit. Because I'm very happy. They are very happy. And they will be very happy to do whatever they want to do. So yeah. So how am I gonna do this then? Well, yeah. Well, the main issue here is that I'm gonna be looking for like, this thing right here, we can just remove a lot of it, but we don't need to remove a heck of it, but we can just do this. We don't need this. Go away line. We already completed the mission. You can go away now. Thank you. Alright. So as you can see, the tree here is gonna be getting big, very lumpy, very long, and the more we draw, the more better it gets. Well, of course, that's the idea. The good thing is, even if there is a line here, it doesn't matter that much because we are gonna draw the leaves on top of it. So it's gonna be another layer, boom, stamped on it. So it needs to be not that accurate, but I always like to be precise. Always like to be precise and very accurate upon what I do. As you can see, I'm doing it very casually and very nicely. And then tomorrow tomorrow is already Tuesday, right? It is already Tuesday. It's already Wednesday today, right? Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday, right? No, it's Tuesday. So tomorrow is gonna be Wednesday, and then Thursday is gonna be sport, and then Friday is gonna be eating, and Saturday is gonna be going away on travels for 3 hours, and then Saturday coming back from that travel of 3 hours. So how much time do I then have left? Well, I only have then Saturday maybe not taken, or Sunday not taken. Well, good that I already finished all the jobs that I wanted to do in the first place. So yeah, it's very nice that I already know, like, oh well, I will be away here, and then, do things like that. I also realized that, in October, I'm gonna be not available on Sunday because Sunday is gonna be another event, another D&D session. So yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be lovely. And I'm back into swings of it, and I'm all swinging it right on the top. And I'm very happy upon that. Because, it took me already a long time to get everything correctly done, and now everything is getting back in action. Which is good, because, it really sucks if there is no action. I have been sitting still for a year, almost. When it come to, of course, when it comes to the aspect of, you know, going to friends, visit their houses, doing stuff there, and well, you know, all those years of you know, that 1 year of being stuck, I was like, what the hell? And then I realized it was 2 years, and then 3 years. So yeah, it's a sneaky one. The whole COVID idea was actually very nasty in my eyes. And I can remove it right here, right? Yes, I can remove it right here. Alright. Big blubber is gonna go away now. Big line is gonna go away now because we're gonna do cool stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very happy how far we got. And I'm very happy that this tree is now finally finished. Because holy hell, this tree took time. At least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks of working. 3 weeks even, if I'm correct. So yeah, trees not as nice as they think out, and then not as great as you think they are. Well, so this is 2 weeks of work. Then the other part needs also 2 weeks of work because this is also a big one. And then we have the small ones, so probably 1 week of those, and then they're done. But you get the point. It's gonna be a big thing to do the drawings of the background. But once the background is fully complete, and wow, it's gonna be all flashy with full of colors and full of light. And I like that. So, now what? Oh yeah, I need to do looking up some grass. Oh well, not grass, I mean leaves. And see how other people draw leaves. That's gonna be the worst case scenario of how to draw leaves, and everybody's gonna be like, well, I'm gonna be doing this fancy stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that fancy stuff. I have no idea how you completed that. So it's gonna be probably a lot of trial and error. Oh well. It's not like, you know, this whole moth-hawk project is a trial and error thing. Well, it's a little bit of both, most of the cases. Because trial and error is a thing that is very helpful, especially when it comes to drawing. Because then you realize, like, oh, well, I come to around this problem, and that problem can be solved by this, and that, and this, and that. And then, you know, sooner or later you will be figuring out, like, oh, well, I just need to do that or this. Alright. I just need to remove this part, and we're complete to do stuff in this part. Now we need to remove it here as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and alright, and now we can just casually remove it. So the main funny thing here is that actually I'm trying to do my very best here to get everything fixed in such a way that it is good and easy to do. But holy hell, it is hard. It is hard. Because, well, you know, this part is more difficult than the other one because, you know, I need to make sure that I don't screw it up with erasing stuff because, you know, we already are working on a very delicate layer. And if I'd done this in 2 layers, then, well, you know, it wouldn't have been that hard, but it would be still the same. But with 2 layers, the most difficult part is then, you know, that you might overdraw things and that might work not well. And with this layer, you can just, you know, erase the lines that you don't want, and then boom, you can just use the alpha to get the parts that you want. So it's easier to clean. It's easier to clean. It doesn't mean it's quicker, but it is easier. Alright, alrighty then. Let's continue. So, now we're gonna be looking for ourselves for some lovely little leaves. Why are we looking for leaves? Because, well, we need leaves. If you get my point here, you need leaves. This part right here. So we're gonna add this into a group because, well, it needs a group, and we're gonna add this into another group because, well, this is the leaf group. Now, how are we gonna solve this problem? We need to look for leaves. Well, we're gonna look for leaves then. Leaves. Leaves. I'm gonna look for leaves, and then we're gonna look like tree drawing with leaves. There you go, with leaves. There you go. Tree drawing with leaves. All right. We're gonna just look up stuff and see if we can find anything that is mildly closely representing our tree. So this is a tree that is drawn by the leaves, and these are all handily drawn tree leaves. Good idea? Yes. We have this effect that has the tree leaves being on a stamp, so it's like a texture stamp. We have the tree leaves that can be like this. Behold, it's a tree. And we have these leaves. This is actually quite common. So the character itself is going to be very detailed, and then you have these kind of background trees. Well, we're going to be looking at some more trees, because, well, we need to look for trees with leaves. So, let's see. That's a tree with leaves, and then the leaves have been drawn as well. That's a bonsai boom. That's not what I need. Tree with leaves. Alright, so that's how they drew it. How did these people draw the tree leaves? They drew the leaves like that. So tiny leaves, and then big leaves on top, and then big bushes on top of it. Alright, so how is this? How does this go? Background leaves. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, we're gonna look for this tree leaf and see how this works. So how did this tree work? How does this tree work? Alright, this tree is positioned in such a way that there is a line. There is a line here. There is a big giant line here that has been drawn. And then there is a lot of leaves being casually drawn, and then the big mush happened. Alright. Let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try that indeed. Because, you know, we need to look for leaves in that. Oh, don't mind me. Sorry. So, what they did is gonna be like, well, I'm gonna go for green because, well, we need leaves. We need some good old-fashioned leaves, so we're gonna go for green. I'm just gonna be blah, 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 blah. Of course, this is all there. And then this right now. So how much? So now we're gonna remove some of these leaves, like so. Now we're gonna draw the lines that we need. So we're gonna draw the leaf line. Leaf 1, leaf 2, like so. Alright, so that's how they drew it. That's how they drew the leaf, I believe. So we drew it like that. Of course, this is the worst case scenario of drawing a leaf tree, but this is how we drew it now. Now I'm going to add some more nice edges to it, and then we're going to add now some detail towards this bullshit. So, now let's try this. We're gonna go for the pencil mode because we need that, and we need to draw. So how did the tree work? Well, the tree worked like that. So now we're gonna look for the tree to see if we can get any black, please. Thank you. Let's see if I can get something up and running. So let's see if I can get something that might work properly. Of course, this might be a little bit stupid, but don't mind me, just doing what I think is right. Doesn't mean it is right. Alright, so if we have this big tree, can I go for something like pencil and then just use the 5, I believe? Alright. There you go. Does this feel like the tree I want to go for? That's the question. The big old-fashioned big tree. Big oak tree. We can even move it around to see if we can fit it like what we want. Let's see. Is this the tree I want to go for? So is this a tree that I want to go for that feels like a tree? And we have like 3 parts. So we definitely should get some more lines up and running, that's for sure. But if we remove this part right here, this part right here, and we're gonna remove this, yep. Nobody needs this anymore. Nobody needs this. There you go. If we now add such flux that work like that, well, of course, we need to have something like this be right here, this be right there. So this is like the thing I have in mind. So we're gonna go for like this kind of effect. So we have these trees that work like flux and then get some that's indeed a good tree. And then we're gonna go for like something like this. And there should be then one here, right here as well. Alright. So there should be an opening right here then. So if we add that, and then right here, we should then add that part right up. And there you go. So we're just designing the tree. We're not gonna be doing anything wrong here. We're just adding some stuff to see if this fits. So if we have these kind of trees, would they work in this kind of environment that we are putting the moth-hawk in? The only question is, where is the moth-hawk? And the moth-hawk should be here. Now moth-hawk. Since that you are looking for a tree that works like that, does this feel like a tree that you want to go for? Yes, that would be good. So we have a tree that works like that. So the only thing that will be designed is going to be... So if we have that kind of effect, we can add some more effects to it later. But then we can have like so, and then go upwards like so. But that won't make any sense, so we're not gonna go for it. So this is the tree that we're gonna go for. So this is one of the flux that's gonna be ending. Then we should definitely have something more like in the background like that. Yes. So one more like so in the background. So this is in the background like so. Then you have this kind of effect in the background. So we have a tree that works like that. So this is the tree. So then when we have the other trees, then they're going to be like so upwards. Boom, 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 boom. They also will have then the idea of having Alright, so now we're having actually a tree here to talk about. Lovely. So the idea is that we're going to go for something that makes the tree stand out, which is true. So if we have that, we can add these trees towards the climate. We can add more trees to it. Also have the effect that we want. And then since that these trees don't represent that, we can have them also have the effect that we want. So tree on top, on top. So these trees are going to be like that. Oh well. They need to be going this way. So this tree going to be upwards. Like so. And just, you know, schedule design of trees, figuring out like what kind of trees do we want, what kind of trees we don't want. Of course we don't have the best trees in the world, but trees will look like trees, definitely will look like trees. So these trees are more like the African trees. Yeah, probably they are like African trees that just only grow tall. They only grow tall. Their bushes are way up. And the funny thing is that will actually be beneficial. That's why this moth-hawk can just, you know, run around, do stuff in the background. Because as you can see now, if I add the moth-hawk back in, you can see that this will create the effect that I want, right? Yeah, that does create the effect I want. Because these trees can dominate any grass. So if I then have like grass around here like that, ooh, oh, rocks and steadiness, and then here you have also grass. So it's gonna be a high, well, we need to have like low grass here. But yeah, these trees, this tree right here, it's a big tree, it's a big boy. Goes upwards, splits up, goes upwards, splits up. And then, you know, you have these trees that, oh well, these grass blumps that represent the tree leaves that, well, you know, it closes up quite nicely, which is nice. And we can also say like, yeah, we have this kind of effect, so. And then we have this part right here. And then, you know, you can have this whole tree being an extension of itself, like so. And this tree right here can have like, yeah, multiple things like that. And well, the more stuff comes, the better it gets. So we definitely should go for like something like this. And then we have like more trees in the background again, you know, doing the same thing again, doing again the same thing with tree pointed up like so. And we have the grass here. So we have the grass, and then we have, you know, all the stuff that we want here right now with leaves and all that stuff, beautiful ripples and a creek maybe going through it like so, a creek leaving through it, so like so, then yeah, like so, creek looking through it, and that will fix everything that we want. Well, it does create the effect that I actually want on the trees anyway. You can have multiple trees in the background. You can have even a tree right here. But of course, you know, this tree needs to be like in the background, so therefore cannot be there. This tree is there, this tree is right there, this tree is overlapping that part. And then you have like tree like so. And then we have now the trees that we want. Now, if we now add the color that we want to it, so we're gonna just add the color that we need for the trees, you can see then exactly what I mean. So there's gonna be trees here, and then here. So that's gonna be tree, that's gonna be a tree, that's gonna be a tree, that's gonna be a tree. So I'm just adding the colors that I want so that I can see like, ah, well, this represents a tree, right? Now, of course, there will be grass right here. Grass right here, like that. So now we have already the grass that we want. We have the idea that we want to go for. As you can see, this is all in the background, except this. Then this is not in the background, but we can fix this part. So yeah, this is why there is this. So now that we have decided what kind of trees we want, with this we can then also add the color of blue to it, because, well, you know, we need to have the sky. So we're gonna go for a sky. We can add like sky parts here and there. And the funny thing is, technically, since there is a sky here, we can actually make like lighting as well. So we can go for some lighting, like so, rays shining through the trees. I'm just gonna pick up one of the colors that I want. Not pick. Ugh, there you go, pink. Gonna be going for pink. Not there you go. Light shining through the trees. That will create the effect that I want, because then I can go for this and I can go for it that way, like this way. So we have two lights that guide the thing I want. So since we have this will create the effect I want actually to have. So we have light on these sides of the tree. These lights can then, you know, guide through the trees tops, and then, you know, representing, giving the feeling of, you know, enclosure towards the to the moth-hawk, so it will all focus down to the moth-hawk, which is important. So do I want these trees? Definitely I want these trees. These trees are good. Now, since we have the idea of the trees, we have the idea of the tree leaves. We now need to figure out how we're gonna draw those tree leaves, because holy hell, that's gonna be another pain in the it's gonna be another debacle. So first things first, we need to make sure that we close down this part right here a little bit, so we can see like, well, what we need to draw in the first place anyway. Yeah. So I'm just gonna be casually looking for like a way of drawing these things without causing too much of a problem with the art style that I have. So we want detailed trees, but we don't want to have trees that look out of place. And I think that I found what I need to go for. So if I go for this kind of effect, right? Same kind of effect that we had with the tree that we want to go for anyway. So we're going to just draw it. Just going to implement that we are going to go for this kind of effect anyway. The hanging moss tree. Because they do exist. In real life they do. And they are designed to have hanging leaves. Of course, with hanging leaves, we should not go for something boldish in the top. There you go. So if we're going to go for this kind of effect, then we're adding the layer of leaves towards it. So we're going to add the layers of leaves towards it. We're going to go for this kind of effect to it. I know this sounds really ridiculous, but we're not going to add any wings towards it or anything else to it. We're just going to add the texture of the feathers a little bit. So we're going to add the feather effect to it. But we're not going to be using it as a feather effect. That's the main idea. We just want to have the effect of that the drawing has been done. So like that. So let's see if we then add more to it, and we're going to add the big lines to it as well. So we're going to add the big lines to it because, well, you know, we do need to have the hanging moss effect. So we should definitely add some of the big effects towards it. But we're all going to do it a little bit shaky. So it's not clean lines, as, you know, in a cartoon would be. It's not going to be clean lines. It's going to be shaky lines, like somebody who has problems with writing some language down. And why we're going to go for the problematical, you know, shaky lines is because then once we add the texture to it again, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we can then see that if we have this kind of effect to it, you can already see that there is a difference between the lines of the tree, which is important because we want to give it all, get it all towards the upper part here. And this is the tree that we want to go for. So now if we then add the color to it, we're gonna have this. Well, that does look, that looks decent actually. I like it. I like the way how this is going to be ending up. So I think I'll keep it like this. And why are we keeping the the green up? Because that way we can see like, ah, well, this works or this doesn't work. It's all tiny little bits. So if we now add something like a secondary color towards this, let's see if that works perfectly as intended. So if we now add some secondary color towards this, alright? We're just gonna add some secondary colors to it to give the tree a little more life and all that stuff. So we want the tree to have some more life to it. It's because, well, you know, the tree, you know, it's something crucial that the tree has. It needs to have some life to, filled into it. Now, well, look at that. Alright, this texture works perfectly. As intended, right? Now, if we then add some third color to it, then it's a little bit darker. We can add now the stuff that we want on the background, like that. Come on. A little more darker. Yes, there you go. Alright. If we add now the bird wing to, if we add the bird creature towards it. Let's see, if we add that all there, then that would work perfect. Oh, well, it would work quite easily, actually. Yeah, this would work. But these things need to be a little bit bigger, so they need to be around, like, huge. Especially this one needs to be huge. So I could definitely go for this kind of effect that we add this part right here. And then add. Alright. That's all for today. I'm gonna quit it right here. And I hope you all have enjoyed for today. And thanks all for watching. And I hope I'll see you all next time. Until then, I wish you all a lovely day. Bye!